We're going to create an online store similar to the one that you see here. Here we see Budget Gadget, which is an electronics online store, and this is our home page. And we have a few recently added products that are on display. And it's a very simple and clean interface that we are going to build and also continue to build on in the upcoming videos. For now, we have two pages, our home page. As you can see, we have a main photo, and these products are being pulled from our products database. So if we click on our product, it can bring up each product and give a brief description under name, price, and any other technical specifications of that product. In future videos, we're going to add functionality to add these products to a cart and also check out. As we see here, we have our cart up here with the icon, and once we add an item to our cart, this counter should reflect the number of items that we have. Also, we have a products page, and this products page is also pulling in the products from our database. And if we click on each one, it should bring up each product. As you can see here, it's getting the ID of each product from our database. And if we go ahead and switch this ID, then it will bring up that product. All right, so we are going to go ahead and build this and see if we can get it looking quite similar to what we have now. So the first thing we're going to do is create a database for our store. So similar to the last video, we used PHP MyAdmin, and we are going to go ahead and create a new database, and we're just going to call our database eStore and create it. And I am going to copy and paste in some SQL to create my table and also to add a few products to my table. So I've created a products table, and now I'm going to add or insert a few products into my table. Paste that in. All right, so now we've added a few products to our table. So let's take a look at the structure of our products table. So each product has a unique ID for the product, which will be auto-incremented when we add new products. We have the name, description, price, and retail pricing for our product, and both prices are in decimal format. We have a quantity based on when we implement our cart feature, and we have an image field where we are going to store a path to our image so that we can display images for our products. And we also have a date time field here that stores the date added. So the next thing that we need to do is connect our project to our database. So here I've created a brand new project in my Visual Studio editor, and it's called eStore. And we have a few folders in here at the moment. We have our assets, config, models, and templates. And we want to ensure that we are organizing our project the right way. In our assets folder, we'll be storing any CSS styling and our images. In our config folder, we have our database connection. All right, so this is the script to connect to our database. And we have our models and templates directory. I'll be making a slight modification to our database connection file. Usually you wouldn't want to have your username and password inside your connection script. So what I'll do, I'm going to create a new file called credentials. And inside this file, I'm going to define two parameters. First one, username. And when I define constants, I usually define them in all caps. And we know our username is root. And we're going to define a field for our password as well. And we have no password set, so we'll just leave an empty string. So let's save this. And now in our database connection file, what I'll do is require my credentials file. And now instead of typing in the actual name of our user and the password in these fields, we'll just simply plug in our username and password. So that is a better way to connect to your database. Instead of having your username and password in your connection script, we have it stored separately in a different file, and this file can be stored outside of our project if needs be. And we just have to now enter our store information. So let's say eStore, which is the name of our database. And this should allow us to now connect to our database. The next thing we're going to do inside our models folder, we are going to create a file called functions.php. And this file will be responsible for generating our headers and footers on each page, along with certain other functions that our program will utilize. So the first function we are going to define, we're going to define a template header. And this will take a parameter for the title of our web page. And we are also going to define another function for our template footer. And we don't need to pass in any value to this function. However, it will display our footer information on each of our web pages. Okay, so in our template header, we are going to create a multi-line string. And I'm going to use the here doc syntax. So we need an opening here doc. And this pretty much acts like a double quote. Right, so you see that we have the opening quote and everything else has changed into a string. And once I close it, and let me close it off here, EOT, along with a semicolon, we see that everything now returns to normal. So this is equivalent to a double quote. So inside my here doc string, I am going to define the head of my CSS and include my fun awesome and all the different things that will go into the header of my web pages. So I've gone ahead and put in the header of my web pages, and just to quickly go through, we have the header of our document with our title. So once we pass in the title into our template header function, it will show that title on each page. We are linking to our CSS styling, which we're going to add shortly, and this will be in our assets CSS folder. So we have to define the path toward that, and we're also linking Fun Awesome CDN to our web page. Here in the head, we have our header, which is the title of our website, Budget Gadget. We have our nav bar, our index page, and our products page, along with some icons here, which will show our shopping cart in the top right hand corner. And then we are simply closing out our divs and our header and opening our main element here for our main section of our page content. So we're going to do a similar thing in the footer of our document. So in our footer, we are including the year. So we're using our date function, and we're simply passing in a string that we want to only include the year. And then we are echoing the closing tag for our main and opening up our footer. And inside our footer, we're going to have the year and our budget gadget, and our budget gadget store copyright symbol here. And we will include any scripts that are necessary for our web page inside our script.js. And we have to ensure that we are linking our script.js the same way that we are linking our style.cs. So it would be in our JS folder as opposed to our CSS folder. So let me go ahead and create those at this time. So we need a new directory for our JavaScript, and let me create our script.js file. And let me also go ahead and create my style.css. And I'm going to go ahead and paste in some styling that my web application will use. Right, so instead of using Bootstrap, I am simply going to use a clean CSS style throughout my entire web page. Right, so now that that has been added, it should allow our application to look like this. All right, so the next thing we need to add is an index page. So let me go ahead and close this, and we can, I believe we can close our database connection file. So now let's go ahead and create our main index page. So index.php, and this, it will be our main file, our main entry point for our application. So all requests will be essentially be routed through our index page. And the first thing we need to do is start our session. And what this does, it allows us to track everything that our user does while they're in our web application. So if they are looking at products and add any products to their shopping cart, our session will store all that information. So we need to include a few files. So let me not. So we need to include our config and our database connection. And we also need to include our functions, models, and functions file. And we now need to store our database connection in a variable. So I'm going to create a variable called PDO and set it equal to our function inside our db connection.php, which is PDO connect MySQL. And that will store our connection inside this variable. So now we're going to set up some basic routing for our application. And I am going to create a page variable, and we're going to say, depending on if our page exists, then we will want to navigate to that page. Else we will either default to our home page or display a page not found error. So in order to do this, we're going to say we're going to get the page that is requested. And then we need to check if the page exists. So our page is actually a file. We've been creating different files in our directory. So we have to check if the file exists. And whatever page is requested. And I'm going to use a ternary. So if that is true, then we're going to simply get the page. Else we are going to default to our home page. And we're going to create our home page here in a second. And then we're going to include our page, and we're going to concat our extension, which is .php, to the end of that page. Now we're going to create our home page. So let's create that. So home.php. And essentially, we don't have to worry about adding any of our files that we need to include, such as our database connection, etc., to our home page, because we're already routing our home page through our index page, which already has our session and is including all of those files already. So on our home page, the first thing we're going to do are get the most recent products from our database. And we are going to create a statement to query our database. So statement will be equal to our PDO and we're going to prepare our SQL query. So we're going to select all from our products table, and we can order by, and if we want the most recent products, we can order by date added, which is a field in our database, or we can simply order by ID. So instead of the most recent products, I'm just going to get products by ID. Right, so first 4 products from our database. So we're going to order by we're going to order by ID ascending. So ID ascending, and we're going to limit our results by 4. Right, so we only want 4 results. And then we are going to execute our statement. And then we're going to store our products that are retrieved in a variable. So we're going to say products statement, and we are going to fetch all. All right, so we're going to fetch each associated row. So now that we have done that, we now need to include the header of our home page. So we're going to echo our template header. And remember, it takes one parameter. So we're going to pass in that parameter, and that's our home page. And we need to close our PHP. So ensure this is closed off. And of course, we need to, at the bottom of the page, include our template footer and close that off. So between our header and our footer, we are going to include the body of our home page. I've gone ahead and pasted in the body of our home page, and I'm quickly going to go through and explain it. So at the top, we have a div that will have our featured image, and we're pulling our featured image from our assets directory and our image subdirectory, and we have an image here called electronics home, and if we click on that, this image should be displayed on our home page, and that is our featured div. Below that, we are doing a couple of new lines here, and we have a second div that is displaying the recently added products. So this is a header, and we have a nested div that is displaying our products. And this is being done using a for each loop. So we're doing a for each on our products that were returned from the database, and we are iterating through all of our products and storing them as product in each iteration. And what we're doing here, we are setting our index page and our product ID equal to the ID of each product that gets displayed, and we are displaying the image for that particular product. So the ID of the product image, the product name, the price, and here is the product price, and also the retail price. And essentially what the difference between the retail price and actual price, let's say you're having a sale on items, you would want to display the retail price different from the sale price. So you usually see this displayed using a strikeout. For instance, if an item costs $20, you'll see that's the retail price, and it's struck out, and now the sale price is $15.99. And then we are simply ending our for each loop, and we have already included our template footer. And one thing before we load this page, before I forget, we should set our PDO connection equal to null after we're finished querying the database. So let us try this out. Let us navigate to our eStore. So it should be in the same directory as our CRUD app. So let's type in eStore. Right. So we get our eStore budget gadget, our home page. This is our featured photo. And down here we have our recently added products, our smartwatch, wallet, headphones. All of these images are being displayed and stored here in our images folder. And I think it's a nice clean interface to display our electronics.